Hey, so I built something I'm really excited about, and it's called the Deal Desk, and it's powered by Tambo. So here's the problem we are solving. Lawyers and legal ops teams spend hours, sometimes days, reviewing contracts. They're juggling PDFs, spreadsheets, and chat windows, just trying to figure out what does this clause actually mean, or what are we on the hook for. So for the most part, most AI tools just give you text, so that is long paragraphs, more reading. We wanted something different, an AI that actually gives you tools, sliders, checklists, forms, things you could interact with. And that's what Tambo lets you build. And that's what I'm about to show you. So let's click here. So this is the whole setup where you can see on the left, I have the text editor that would come up in a second. And then we have the chat. And here we have the canvas to drop and, drop your intelligence cards and do the analysis. So yeah, let's click on the smart draft where for this demo, I'll use a template to get started really quickly. But you could use the AI feature to draft your contract and go as you wish. So this is the template that I'm gonna use. So here's where Maven comes in, right? So let's say I need review this before we sign in. So here we have these starter cards. So I click on analyze risk. What it's essentially doing is it's going on, hitting the Tambo API and using LLM. So we have a coordinator agent that is calling in the sub agent, which does the risk assessment here. So we can see it's a long paragraph, but this is the Gen UI component here, right? So if I just move my camera here, so what you could do essentially is see where you are lying, right? And the engine basically suggests also a AI fix. If I click on AI fix, it will, what it does is basically narrows down and lessens all of these, risks here. And in the future update, what we could essentially do is when I click on AI fix, this text editor would basically like when I do the AI fix, it would call in a sub agent that would edit the text here on my text editor. But that is not happening right now. But this is what could happen, right? So the lawyer or anyone who is basically like a small startup founder also could essentially like tune in those components, right? And use this. So I just show you a little bit on how this thing, I could just, you drag and drop just like this and click on here, right? So you could also basically like click, touch this, press this and go on to edit mode, and you could also remove it, right? So for now, I'll just collect this, right? So what I do right now is go on new conversation. So everything here is basically a custom, like it is all custom made and not using the Tambo template for now. We just use it for reference. So what I do is basically write help me with this project. Help me with this contract, right? So what it's doing now is calling the coordinator agent, and we know that this request is a little bit vague, right? So as mentioned, and a beautiful service that is also offered by Tambo is basically MCP. And here we are using those MCP, but we also have a sub agent that does the elicitation of the MCP. So we have created these components, these beautiful components that the LLM would generate based on the props and the sort schemas that we have made. So as you can see, like we have all of these things, right? So if I click on extract obligations, so obligations are what you must do or should do or you could do, in a basically a contract like this. And what usually happens is that the contracts are very big, right? They're huge. So what we have essentially done here is like, as you can see, these are the obligations that has been generated, and these obligations, what it could do is basically speed up the whole contract review process. So I just go out of edit mode for now, and what I could do is essentially drag and drop these things, right? Also what I could do is click on auto arrange, so it would arrange by the height, and you could see all of these components here. I could also pin down and work on my contract, but right now I would just pin it. You could also manually resize them, right? So this is how it works. Yeah. And what I also want to show you right now is there are different kind of elicitations that can happen, right? So if I write, let's say, tune a clause. So this is a basic like a prompt, but it would be very similar to what a startup founder or a lawyer would usually write. And what it usually does is basically this is also a general thing, right? Tune a clause. What does it really mean? But we now have what we'll be generating here is elicitation again, and that is the second version of elicitation that we have made. And essentially, what it is it's a form, and the LLM would be asking you questions, and that's what elicitations usually is, right? So you could see tune a clause, provide the few details so I can tailor the clause language to your goals, right? So what it would do essentially is taking these party A, party B, you can see like these things. So I would just write, I am from Acme Corporation, and my target clause here, let's say, so this one clause is for days, right? Okay. And this is for the limitation of the liability. So that is 50,000. Let's say I would like to hit the fourth clause, and that is my target. My stance would be conservative for now, and my priority would be very high. So I would generate a revision, and what it is doing is again triggering that coordinator agent. That coordinator agent is the orchestrator that will, again, we have created a sub agent for the tuning process. So these sub agents were for risk analyze, right? One was for obligations that I saw that I showed So here you can also interact with these components. It will act like a to-do thing, right? So that could be done. And then now here you can see, so all of these things like the sliders that you see here, right? Or this one also. So it is fully variable. Like the LLM could generate only one slider if it wants, or it could generate two sliders, two toggles, or one toggle. It could be a permutation combination of anything, right? So here I could just set the cap amount as 20,000 for now, okay, 200,000, sorry, and the deductible as 19,000 for now, right? And I would like to include carve outs. So I could just press on update clause, and what it would do in the future version is have these sliders reassess the contract, and it would generate again, right? So you could also see what you have picked has come up as tags, and this is a different kind of component that we have designed. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm sorry, this is breaking, but it would be done very easily. And for the last type of card that we could generate, that is a component, GenUI component, is basically, clarify me the definitions, because there are numerous definitions sometimes. Here we only have 3, right? Because it's a template. But here I could have, let's say 1.4, and then having some kind of other definition. So usually a clause or a contract is littered with thousands of definitions, and sometimes, these are just not very easily that I can digest. So what I would essentially do here is go and I could see what the services mean. Oh, okay, I could explain the concept here, or else I would just go on and add this into my analysis. So these are the things that essentially the lawyers or even startup founders of small and medium enterprises would really value when you are reviewing the clause, and with these analysis, with these tools, you could have a massive edge. And what we have researched is that 60 to 70% of the time of a lawyer or a founder essentially goes into this type of grudge work, right? And also it saves time, because these lawyers or these personals are very expensive, and here's where where we are leveraging Tambo to basically have this deal desk where you could come in, see the contract, have the analysis, chat with your contract also, so everything kind of really works, right? And I think you could also find us on this link, which is our GitHub link, right? I'll just make it public for after uploading this. But thank you so much.